Hey everybody, sorry I had a little technical glitch there. Happy Saturday. I'm very excited it's Saturday. This has been a very long week with the opening of Create the Calm. That's my new program that's out. And I'm really excited about it. And I wanted to do just a little I've been talking a lot about the really direct link between emotions and learning. And you know that I'm all about the learning piece. And we really can't get through to the learning when our emotions are so intense that they're actually blocking the learning. So this is for really all ages. Think about a time when you're being bullied, or when someone was gossiping about you, or you were worried about your child being sick, even when you're at work, and you really just can't concentrate properly and focus in on what you need. And so I've been talking about that a lot this week because it's such a key component, and that's where the mindful learning comes into play. And I wanted to address one of the things that comes up a lot from parents for me, especially with children who are autistic or have ADHD, or maybe who have experienced some trauma early on in their life. There is a condition called Alexithymia, and this is a very it's not well known to parents whatsoever. I wanted to talk just a little bit about it because I don't think people understand just how prevalent it actually is in our general population, but again, very much so with our kids who have autism or ADHD. So alexithymia is a condition, so it is not a mental disorder. It's not going to be diagnosed from the DSM. So basically what that means is if you were to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist to get that psych ed assessment or a reevaluation of your psych ed assessment, they would not necessarily be looking for these components, and they wouldn't diagnose it out of the DSM. But it is a condition. And it's very prevalent, and it's very problematic when you are trying to have any kind of emotional expression. So in mindful learning, right, we want to talk about, really kind of understanding where those emotions are coming from. And if you have alexithymia, this is basically impossible for you. And so I want to just talk about this a little bit. So think about, I get a lot of parents who say, we've tried the breathing techniques, we've tried, getting him to say, like, where is that emotion, and where's that emotion coming from, and what does that emotion feel like? And these are some really good questions that you want to be asking. But for a child with alexithymia, they wouldn't know. So much of their feelings actually come from facts. They depend almost wholeheartedly on the factual information that's coming in. So if they're experiencing, sadness, what they assume is sadness is not going to be what everyone else is feeling as sadness. Their bodily reactions are not read in the same way. And so they really struggle to understand and describe what that emotion is. They might feel like, okay, maybe I'm feeling a bit tired. Is that sadness? Right? Or is that further along? Is that depression? Is that that I'm just tired? Right? So they're not able to really differentiate between those things, between those feelings. And so what happens is when we say things like, how are you today? Which, is really common, or when they're, a lot of our children who go into therapy sessions, and, they're asking, how do you feel about that? And they may not really be able to express how they're feeling about that. They might just say things like good, bad, and you get these kind of one-worded answers, and parents get really upset about this because they want their kids to dig deeper. They want their kids to, be able to express those emotions. but they can't. So it's just really, it's something that we need to be aware of, because if we're really struggling to, kind of get this information out from our children, we really want to look into the possibilities of what else could this be, right? Why are they struggling so much with this? And I wanted to note, like, this is something that is far more common than you think. Like, we're talking, it's around 10% of people in the general population are going to have alexithymia. And then, for autistics or people with ADHD, we're looking at far more, upwards of, between 50 and 80%. And so that's, it's really something that we need to explore a bit further, because what happens is, if we have a child with ADHD, we say, okay, mom and dad need to kind of guide them through those executive functions that they're having difficulties with until they're capable of kind of taking some of that on their own, right? Because they're not understanding how to get there. Same thing with alexithymia. We're going to need to kind of help guide them through that in order for them to start understanding, okay, this feeling in my body means this, or it possibly means this or this, right? And so they start to develop a language for their emotions, for their feelings, instead of, just kind of good or bad. But the third part of this, and I want you to really think about, so if you're having difficulties with understanding your own emotions, what does that look like when you're trying to figure out what other people feel and what other people need from how they're feeling? Because if you're not understanding your own, that's, it's kind of impossible. So when someone doesn't react, if your child isn't reacting the way that you would like them to, you're feeling sadness and they don't come up and give you a hug, or you're feeling happiness and they don't, immediately come and celebrate with you. This is the reason that working in a program like Create the Calm, where we explore all of the different possibilities as to why your child isn't able to create their own calm in their mind, right? This is the exact reason, because there's so much to explore other than just autism, anxiety, ADHD, right? And even within those labels, there's so much that people really don't know about it and don't understand. So I wanted to talk about this one today. It's, like I said, it's far more prevalent than you think. So it's something to definitely look into, especially if your child is autistic and, you're really having some difficulties with this whole, like, these mindful activities that I've been giving out. We want to start to explore those a little bit further. And so what I thought might be good tomorrow is I'd like to give you an activity that you can do with your child, regardless of whether or not he or she is autistic or not, but something that will kind of help developing their language and their ability to express those emotions. So we're going to do that tomorrow. And I just wanted to remind you again, Create the Calm is open right now. And, this is a program that is going to take you through, all of these possibilities and really help to, like it says, create the calm in your child's mind so that we can get down to that learning piece that he's struggling with, because that's where the behaviors and the difficulties with self-esteem really happen. All right, thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another training. Bye.